Hey guys, Sam Lieberson here with Edina Realty, joined by Shane Hoffman with Edina Realty Mortgage, as always. And today we are going to talk about rates, because what did we tell you in our podcast last year?
Oh, are you saying we were right?
Oh, Lord knows we love being right.
Who doesn't want to be right?
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, I never like saying that. I'm lying. I love saying that. I was right.
I was gonna say. I don't ever like saying that.
Right.
But also, I'd like to take a moment to say I told you so. We told you so.
Yes, we sure did.
So there is that.
There is that. Okay.
Tell us.
Yes. So, we have seen a significant jump in rates.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like in
Also, no one panic.
yes, calm down, everybody.
Yes.
But most of the time when we see some sort of rate hike, it's rate hike.
We still
hike.
can't talk
Words.
So
Anyway, so typically it's an eighth, maybe a quarter point jump, right?
Right.
Well, we've seen a half to a 3/4 point jump in a really short amount of time. A lot of different various reasons for that. I'm not going to go into that. But
I thought you were going to say a lot of variants.
well, that's part of it.
COVID joke.
Those always hit. Anyway, so not that long ago, we're sitting there at 3 1/4, right? Off the rails.
Okay.
This guy is off the rails.
Yep.
So not that long ago, 3 1/4, right?
Right.
Just for a general rate, right?
Right.
And I locked someone today at 4 1/4.
It's been a bit since I've heard those numbers.
Mm-hmm. So they had a little damage credit or whatever, but we're probably in that 3.75 to 4 range right at this moment.
Right.
Okay.
And again, historically speaking,
Right.
this is a great rate.
Yeah.
An amazing rate.
It is. Yeah. I mean, if your rate starts with a 3, I think we're doing all right. If it starts with a 4, you're still doing okay, right?
Literally. It's
So, I mean,
nothing like 13, 14% back in the D.
There's so
that I wasn't
many,
around for.
right. There's so many stories like that though,
Yeah.
of just people. Even when Trace and I bought our first house, we were at 6.5.
And
We thought it was a great deal.
The early 2000s,
Yep.
everyone thought
Yep.
6-ish was a great deal. So
Yep.
we're doing good.
But we've just been spoiled, right? We've been sitting here in this low rate environment for a few years.
Right.
So people get used to that. I think that's not going to change. Well, it is changing, and it has changed, and it's probably going to stay here.
Right.
But I mean, I think most economists see us in this 3.5 to 4 range.
Right.
I don't know if that will get much over 4. I don't think. We can never really predict that. But,
Right.
So what does that mean for people, right?
Yes.
That's always kind of the question. And so
Shane did math.
I did a little math for you, so you're welcome in advance. But I try to keep math out of the equation on a talk
You
here.
try to keep math out of the equation.
To the talk. Yeah, it's so boring.
Equation. Math out of the equation. He's killing me, folks.
You will see another man punch another man here shortly. No. Okay.
Are you saying you just punch a gay man? I am defenseless. Like I can't hold my own or anything.
Right. Okay, that's funny.
I can throw down.
Right.
Okay. This went really off the rails.
Topic. What are we talking about? Math.
Taking math out of the equation. Shane.
Okay, I love this so much. Okay, so $300,000 loan. Okay,
Yes.
3 1/4, which is where we're at, would be $1,306 a month, principal and interest.
Okay.
Okay, 4%, so 0.75% higher, $1,432.
That's
Okay.
money.
That's money. That's about $125 a month
Yeah.
more, right? Just because rates went up a little bit and you waited.
Cost of waiting.
Yeah. Excuse me. So if somebody wanted that, so going the kind of the opposite number ways is if somebody wants to keep that payment at $1,300,
Right.
When we were at 3 1/4, that was $300,000. Now that's $280. Okay.
Yep.
So you've not cost yourself, but I mean the same payment is 20 grand less.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So that's real buying power that you've lost just with rates going up a little bit. So that's real money, right? And people, when they make a financial decision when it comes to the house, they're not looking at, they look at the purchase price, but at the end of the day, they need to know what the payment is.
Right.
Because the payment is what you're making that checkout.
And I think
month,
a few years ago, the biggest stressor when our prices were going sky high in -3 seconds, everyone's like, I can't afford that because it's 500,000 and I could never afford that. Well,
Right.
interest rate. That is why we are constantly
Right.
pushing interest rate. What's your rate at?
Right.
So that's the
Where we're at.
important of it.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
But also tune in to our podcast. We're going to talk about what to expect for the 2022 market. So that'll do a little deeper dive into just through ours. What do we see
Right.
happening?
Yep.
Or it happening.
Yeah.
Happening with it? Words. Anyway.
2022.
Shane,
Talking.
buyer advantage things.
Both of us. Yeah.
Tax season. We love taxes.
Yes.
I love paying taxes.
Okay,
love
so I love paying taxes. Nobody's ever said that ever. Okay, so buyer advantage
When
program.
You're paying taxes, that means you're making money. I hate making money. I love money. Money loves me, and money comes into my life freely.
See what I deal with? Seriously.
It's the worst. He hates me.
Okay,
No, he doesn't.
so
He loves me.
buyer advantage. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
And why is it perfect? Because of tax season.
Yes, that's why you're bringing taxes up.
Yes.
It's such a great segue. It's
Yes.
almost like we rehearsed it, which we never do.
We never do, except
We get here and in about 5 minutes, we're like, what are we going to talk about? Okay, let's do it.
yeah, and then we recorded it, and so I usually wear an Apple Watch that kept zooming the camera in, so it ended up with two
mouths.
two mouths moving by the end of
is-
our 13-minute video.
which is
so
great. Yeah. Yeah.
we're thriving really. Back to buyer advantage.
Right. Okay. So, tax time is when you're getting your W-2s together, your, end of the year financial statements, that sort of thing, right? And these are things that I would collect normally to get somebody pre-approved.
Right.
But with Buyer Advantage, we take that information, we actually send it down to underwriting. Okay. So this is just on like a to be determined property. We're not ordering an appraisal and all of that.
Right.
But we're just kind of underwriting that person's income, assets, debt, credit, those types of things. So you're already getting those things together for taxes. You would already get some of that stuff to me for a pre-approval. Okay.
Right.
So really, from a buyer's perspective, you're not necessarily doing, a whole lot more. It's pretty much on us to kind of take it and run with it in underwriting. So, and you think about this time of year too, just in our real estate world, when we look outside and it's -10 or 0. Not a lot of houses are moving right now, right?
Right.
Which means underwriters aren't busy in our world.
Right.
So they have time to look at files that are just kind of to be determined and get them through that buyer advantage. So,
Yep.
I mean, I just think it's such a perfect time to do it. And, we've said it before, I'm not the fun part of buying a house. I'm just not.
I am.
I mean,
I'm the
I'm
fun one.
I'm fun.
Okay, he's not the not fun
Yeah.
one. It's,
It's the whole process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
and it's
Anyway.
not even you, it's the underwriting.
Right. Bastards.
Who likes underwriters?
I'm kidding. I love all you
We
guys.
love them.
Yeah.
They're so nice.
But, to get that stress out of the way
Right.
and then go do the fun part,
Right.
right? Why not? That just feels like such a win-win.
I can't even explain to you how much more enjoyable your whole entire process will be, because you're literally just focusing on the financing part then. If everything works out and you qualify for this program. Because then when we're like under contract on a property and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, what colors do I want? What furniture do I want to buy? Don't buy it until we close. Check out that podcast about what not to do. But I mean, you can at least build up your cards so that, after closing,
Right.
you can just click order. That's what I would do at least. God, I lost my train of thought again.
Well, just like
for a sec.
thinking about paint colors and like that's the fun part of the house, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. You get to focus on preparing.
Yeah.
Versus,
Right.
oh my gosh, they need another document.
Right.
And they might still need another document.
Sure.
But it's not
Sure.
going to be, we need this list of all of the documents.
Right.
Go and find them.
Right. It's almost like taking the home buying process in chunks, right?
Right.
Like do your finance now, go look at houses, find
Yeah.
something, get under contract, and let's go to closing. Right?
Right.
And it's just, to your point, it's just so much smoother.
Yeah.
So I think it's a no-brainer.
Agreed.
And I mean, the seller guarantee on top of that, to me, is
Yes.
a really big kicker.
That is a
you
big
know?
thing,
It
especially
is.
for sellers.
Yeah. I mean, and we're putting our,
Butts
our butts on the line, right? So
Because it's 12,500
yeah.
doll hairs.
So if you go through the buyer advantage, you're going to get a commitment letter from us, which just means that's stronger than a pre-approval letter.
'Cause
But
it goes
also,
through underwriting.
right? But with that commitment letter, we're also telling the seller we're going to close on time.
Right.
If not, here's a check for $12,500.
Right.
And I guarantee you, our company does not want to write that check. So that thing is closing on time.
Yeah.
So
Who would want to lose that much money?
No,
Think of all the things you could do with that money.
Yeah.
I could do a lot with that money.
But I think when we talk about,
Finance.
we're going to go talk about 22 soon, but I mean, I think it's going to be competitive again, right? We're already seeing that in January. And okay, so if you go back to last year, and we talked about this a little bit, but you just have a straight pre-approval over here,
Right.
and now you have someone who's been through underwriting, commitment letter, and here's a guarantee, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, for $12,500.
That's two wins.
Right
there.
Which one is winning?
Right.
If the price is similar. I mean, it's
Right.
just such a no-brainer. So.
Yeah.
And again, I always reiterate, it's not a lot more for you as the buyer. I mean,
Right.
it's not. It's on us.
It's just taking place at a different
right
point
time.
of the transaction.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, tune in next week for a very exciting announcement about how you, as someone who has to list your house and buy, could benefit from a new program that myself and Edina Realty are now offering. So,
Don't.
so
I like the tease. That's excellent.
yes, so we will see you next week for that fun and exciting announcement. And be sure to tune into the podcast to find out what to expect from the 2022 market. Bye, guys.